personal mission statement. Have you ever thought about having a personal mission statement? Do you already have one? And if you have one, do you live by it? You know, I could ask Cassandra that, because I'm sure in one of my classes, she probably wrote out a personal mission statement. And that would be an interesting question. I'm not going to put you on the spot, Cassandra, but, you know, that personal mission statement, have you carried that with you? Have you tweaked it as you moved along? Do you know what it is right now? Could you tell me right off the cuff, this is my personal mission statement? That would be, if you have a personal mission statement and you are using it for what it's designed to do, then you should always know what it is. So if you have a personal mission statement, well, you're way ahead already in this workshop. If you don't, then I'm gonna take you through some exercises that will really help you to zero in. And hopefully by the end of the workshop today, you'll be in a place where you go, you know what, I really have some good clear direction. Or you might even be a place where you said, this is my mission statement. I know this is what that'd be really be a bonus. All right. So the thing that I want to talk about here is that your personal mission comes from here. It doesn't come from here. This is really important, because if I make this distinction between your heart and your head, what I'm talking about is this place is where your dreams originate. This place is limitless in its thinking. This is the limiter, always the limiter, because think about, I'm sure in your life you've had dreams, and as soon as you start having a dream, this goes to work to say, well, who do you think you are to dream that dream? Where are you going to get the resources to fulfill that dream? Who's going to believe you when you say this is your dream? What about you were born in the wrong country? You were born on the wrong side of the tracks. You don't have the pedigree in your family to be able to do this. Who do you think you are? That's what this starts telling you. And the reason it's telling you this is because if you're dreaming from the heart, it's way bigger than your head. It's really important to understand and realize this. So since it's bigger than your head is going to fight it. It's very important that you recognize that as well. Your head will fight you on your personal mission, because your head will tell you that you're not the person to be saying that this is what you're going to accomplish with your life. So be aware of that as you're dreaming, even in the workshop today, as you're thinking about and dreaming about things, recognize that your head is going to be the obstacle, and don't allow your head to get your dreams from here, not from here. Okay. So when we talk about inside out, I'm asking you, who are you? Who are you here? Not here, not what you try to project or portray. Who are you at the core of your being? And then the follow-up question to that is, who are you trying to be? Because if you're somebody here and you're trying to project something else out here, you're in trouble, because you can only maintain the facade out here for a certain length of time. And when you maintain a facade out here for everybody else to see, this is extremely psychologically draining. It's like running your car at maximum RPMs all the time. You're going to burn out, because the only way where the life flow comes from is here. So when my life flow is coming out of here, and who I am projecting myself to be is exactly who I am here, there's no resistance. I'm not trying to figure out, okay, you know, these people over here, this group of people, this is who I represent myself to be. This group over here, it's somebody different. You know, some of you might be like that. You might represent yourself as someone in your studies, and somebody else in the work that you do, and maybe even somebody else to your family, and somebody else to your boyfriend or girlfriend, or your husband or wife. So when you're doing all of these different personifications of who you are, this is very psychologically draining. It's like if you're a person who consistently lies. If you've ever had that experience, it becomes extremely difficult to remember which lie did you tell to which group of people, or which persons, and therefore how do you need to act and respond in the presence of them because of what you know they believe about you that's not the truth. It gets so complicated, and this is very psychologically draining. This is actually a lot of the essence of mental illness and people that struggle with mental health. So it's very important that you align this. Who am I here? And therefore, who am I projecting myself to be? Make those things the same. So the question then is, are those two things congruent? There's another thing that happens too, which I'm going to point out here, that you can't consistently give away something that you yourself don't possess. So what I'm saying by that is, this is where you possess who you are. This is the core, the essence of who you are. If you are trying to portray yourself as somebody else, that energy is not coming from here. It's coming from here, or it's coming from the plans that you make about how I'm going to talk about myself or represent myself, and that is very draining. So you can't possibly, you can't live your life like that and expect that this is going to be a consistent representation of who you are. And we see that all the time. We see it in politics. We see it in leaders of governments. We see it in entertainers and movie stars and sports, people that we admire in sports. We see that where sometimes that facade that they've put out here of who they are crumbles and the real person comes out. And notice what happens. It causes us to lose trust in them. It causes us to doubt their integrity. It causes us to even write them off sometimes and just say, well, they're just a liar. I can't even believe anything they say. So, and when I have clients, if a client is coming to me and saying, which I've had happen many times, say, I just want somebody to love me. I just want to find a relationship where somebody loves me unconditionally. They just accept me for who I am. And it doesn't take very long in a conversation like that to unwrap the fact that this person hates themselves. If you hate yourself, you are not going to find someone to love you the way that is going to be meaningful for you. And think about it. I mean, it only makes sense. Why would I love you if you can't even love yourself? If you hate you, of course, chances are things about you are going to bug me. I mean, it's not going to be long before I figure out you're not the most pleasant person to hang around. So it's got to start from the inside. You want unconditional love in relationships. You got to start giving unconditional love from the core of who you are. Okay, ask yourself. And I was going to let you ponder these things now, but I think what we'll do, because we got kind of squeezed on the time, I think what I'll do is I'm going to go through these questions and just talk about how you think about them, and we'll work through some of these questions and more questions that I have in the workshop. And then I've also sent to the center, I've sent a document that is something that you could have in your hand and work through. That would take you some time. You're not going to be able to do that in an hour or two. In fact, it'll probably be spread over a few days where you come back to it, and if you're going to do it reflectively, it'll take you more than one setting or one sitting to do it. Okay. So what is unique about you? What can you do that some others around you cannot? These are ways for you to look at what is it about me that is different from other people. That's what I'm encouraging you to do as we start talking about this. So what can you do that some others around you cannot? What privileges or distinct opportunities are available to you because of who you are? This is an interesting question, because if you're in university, I don't know if you realize this or not, but if you are actually in university and taking courses, you are doing something that only 5% of the world's population does. I don't know if you realize that or not, but only 5% of the world's population has access to a full university education. So we have pushing close to 8 billion people on the planet, and you're in that top echelon. The very fact that you're here probably means that you're in the top echelon, because you're thinking about, if you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is at the top of that pyramid. And that's exactly what you're doing in this workshop. So most people are somewhere else in that pyramid. They're either surviving, or they're just trying to get some love or somebody to accept them, or they're trying to get their needs met. They're trying to get enough food and get enough have shelter and stuff like that. If you guys you obviously have the electronics to tune into this, no matter where you are in the world. That puts you already in a position of privilege. So just understand that sometimes you need to think about this in a broader context, not just the people you hang around with, but the people that are on this planet. What kinds of privileges and distinct opportunities do you have? What words describe you? And if you just say, I don't know, I don't know words that describe me, then ask somebody who's close to you, who cares about you, who wants the best for you, to say, when you see me and when you think about me, can you give me some words that pop into your mind? And use those. You know, some people are sort of falsely humble about this. They say, oh, well, I wouldn't know any words that describe me. You know, I don't think about myself. Well, you better think about yourself, because that is what determines if you're going to have impact in your life. Okay, what are you passionate about? This whole thing is about pursuing passion. What are you passionate about? And by passionate, if I could just sort of define that, it means, what can you not stop thinking about? It seems like every time I sit down to think, this is what I think about. I think about people in other parts of the world, or I think about, you know, how could I influence peace, or I think about how could we feed homeless people, or I think about, you know, how could we create more opportunities in education, or what are some of those things that you think about? And sometimes they are much more self-centered than that, and that's okay too, because sometimes even your self-centered thoughts can give you insight about what's important to you. So this is the next question. What do you value? So what are the internal personal values that you have, the values that you look for in other people, and the values you want to find in your work? So if you're a person who really values honesty, you likely are a person who's honest yourself, and you look for that kind of feature in your friends. Somebody who you can't trust and you have to take everything they say with a grain of salt, you go, yeah, not so much fun hanging around with them. I always have to have my guard up. And so they're violating a personal value that you have. And for sure, values you want to find in your work. What are you looking for when you're looking for a job? What are you looking for? What do you need to do with your work? Does it need to impact more than just you? Is it just about getting a paycheck, or does there need to be some more additional meaning in your work? These are good things to ask yourself. So then I say, you can take this information, this is what we'll do in the workshop, we can combine this information into a statement of your purpose. So, and when you do that, you don't limit yourself in your mind to what you think is possible, because this will stand in your way. Oh yeah, you want to have an impact on people around the world, but who are you? Well, you're a person with a dream, and that's everybody who has had an impact that you know anything about started with a dream. So having an impact on people around the world, that comes from people who have a dream of something they want to do. So you got to expand your vision to include your dreams.